Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your dose of zombies news from the game and community here on COD Zombies HQ. And man, I didn't think I'd be coming back at you with another video until I had some stuff to talk about Black Ops 4 DLC 3 and 4, the conclusion of the Aether storyline, but this came out of nowhere, and in terms of Call of Duty news in general, this is probably the biggest story within this franchise in a very long time. And that's because as Activision and Infinity Ward are preparing to announce the next Call of Duty game, I assume within a few days, which will be the next Modern Warfare game, an article has appeared on the gaming website Kotaku written by what I consider to be the most prominent quote-unquote games journalist named Jason Schreier. You might have heard of him because he wrote the now pretty much famous development expose about the game Anthem and the going-ons at BioWare. Well, today he put up an article with this headline, and get ready for this. Sources: Call of Duty 2020, that is the game to be released in the fall of 2020, so not this upcoming Call of Duty Modern Warfare whatever, it'll be the game after that, is in upheaval as Treyarch takes over and plans Black Ops 5. Oh man. In the article, which is linked in full down in the description if you want to check out the preamble for yourself, Jason begins by claiming that Call of Duty 2020 was originally supposed to be co-developed by Sledgehammer, the studio behind COD WW2, and Raven Studios, the studio behind Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 Remastered. Well, they're supposed to be working together to create COD 2020 based on the Cold War. Well, as Jason writes, quote, as of very recently, that's changed. Now Treyarch, based in Santa Monica, California, is in charge of leading Call of Duty Black Ops 5 for 2020 instead. He continues, according to those briefed on the overhaul, Treyarch will take creative leadership on this new Black Ops, while Raven and Sledgehammer will serve as support studios for the game. So we got 3 studios, I guess, now working on Black Ops 5 for 2020, transforming the work they've done on their own single-player story mode into a campaign for Black Ops 5, which will be set during the Cold War. It will likely be a cross-generation game to coincide with the launch of the next PlayStation and Xbox, which is expected in the fall of 2020. And this next paragraph is a big one, and as it relates to DLC 3 and 4 for Black Ops 4 is huge, and for the future of the COD franchise and the developers themselves, this is big. Jason writes, quote, what this means is that rather than getting 3 years to make their next game after Black Ops 4, Treyarch will have just 2, and essentially less than 2 considering that a large portion of Treyarch is still working on DLC for Black Ops 4 right now, and they have to have a game ready by next year. Oh man. He continues, some at the company say that they're not pleased about that and are already bracing for brutal overtime hours like they faced last year on Black Ops 4. Others have told Kotaku that they're excited about the change, that they have a solid game plan that isn't likely to change drastically, unlike their 2 last projects. Well, I guess we'll see about that. And about that, Jason writes, we'll have more to share about Treyarch and the development of Black Ops 4 in the coming weeks. If you remember, last year we reported that this ex-game tester at Treyarch leaked a whole bunch of news about the development of Black Ops 4 and how it was so troubled, how the campaign was scrapped, how the multiplayer went through revisions. Jason seems to be teasing a Anthem-style expose about the development of Black Ops 4 here. That's probably going to be a zinger. And before we get into analysis of this info in terms of why this is all happening, Jason claims one primary reason behind this Call of Duty upheaval, according to 2 people familiar with the happenings at Activision, is tension between Sledgehammer and Raven, whose staff are said to have argued frequently during the past year of development on Call of Duty 2020. 2 people familiar with the project described it as a mess. Now both studios will serve as support for Treyarch as the publisher prepares to release Black Ops 5. Activision has declined to comment. Wow. So my gut reaction after this info has been twofold. Number one, man, they're gonna run the Black Ops name into the ground, aren't they? Another Black Ops immediately after the release of Black Ops 4. We're gonna have Black Ops 5. Oh man, people are gonna be sick of this name very, very soon, and hopefully the brand doesn't suffer as a result. But my second thought was, I hope that this doesn't screw up the development of DLC 3 and 4, the conclusion to the Aether storyline that I personally see as the finale of Zombies. And now Treyarch is expected to put out another full Black Ops game next year. And they're still working on DLC for Black Ops 4. Oh man, this is not looking good in terms of the crunch time for the developers, in terms of the team size that the actual Zombies team is comprised of to develop these maps, and in terms of the quality of development of these maps themselves. As if this game is supposed to be released next year, Call of Duty Black Ops 5 in 2020, it's 2019 now, so in just over a year, this next Treyarch game is set to be released. I would imagine that Treyarch is just all hands on deck switching development to Black Ops 5. I mean, yes, they have two studios behind them in support, according to this article, Sledgehammer and Raven, but as the article states, they are taking on the primary development role. And I'm extremely worried that this drastic shift towards development for Black Ops 5 is going to negatively impact DLC 3 and 4, which is the exact last thing we need in the Zombies community right now. We need DLC 3 and 4 to be a massive hit if the Zombies community wants to pull together to recover into relevancy, into prominence one last time before it kind of fades into chaos obscurity, in my opinion. I mean, if you're a Call of Duty fan in general, this probably has to worry you to a degree, but maybe makes you excited as well, as we'll have a COD game put out by 3 developers that have released their own games in the past, now apparently working together to create this trifecta to create a COD game next year on rush order. But man, any way you look at this, if these claims are true, this is probably just a big oof, man. If like Papa Treyarch has to come in to save the day and, you know, put his hands between the two kids, Sledgehammer and Raven, and say, stop fighting, now you listen to Dad, and we're gonna get this done by next year. It's just like, oh man, what an odd time to be a fan of this series, specifically the Zombies mode. And well, I thought I was going to be sitting pretty until we get some actual DLC 3 info. Unfortunately, in terms of this case, that's not the case, but either way, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'd love to know your opinion on all this kerfuffles down in the comments, guys. I'll be sure to read each and every single one you guys post, but I want to thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you with another Zombies news video sometime soon. See ya!